still call Australia home. I'm always traveling, I love being free, and so I keep leaving the sun and the sea, but my heart lies way down over the phone. I still call Australia home. All the sons and daughters spinning around the world, away from their family and friends. But as the world gets older and colder, good to know where your journey ends. And someday we'll all be together once more, when all of the ships come back to the shore. Then I realize something that I've always known. I still call Australia, I still call Australia, I still call Australia home. Happy Australia Day, mate. Can't believe it's been more than 20 years now since I was living in Australia, and thought for Australia I'd do this song that I guess I didn't really like it that much when I lived in Australia, but now that I've been away for so long, it sort of becomes a little bit more potent, you know, and it's a really, really nice tune. I've had to change the key. The original key is very much a kind of a piano key. I mucked around a little bit in that key. It was also awful for my voice, but I found a way I think that kind of works nicer for guitar, to use the capo at the second fret and use these chord forms, but you just move the capo up and down the fretboard to find a key that suits your voice. I'm going to talk a little bit about well, basically I'll outline the main chord changes and a couple of different approaches to playing it if you want to try and start picking out the chord melody sort of stuff. But to be honest, when I'm playing the little chord melody bits, I'm not exactly sure how I'm doing it, and it'll take me forever to try and figure it out and then explain it to you. So it's going to be chords, and then I'll explain a bit about how you might approach trying to find bits of the melody if you want to do that kind of arrangement too. There's a few interesting chords in this song because Peter Allen was a piano player and they can do a bit more interesting stuff than us. And I've kind of copped some of them for you, and I've left some of them out that made the fingering real awkward. I'm going to talk about kind of simplified versions as well as we go through, so that you can choose to add in that sort of stuff or not, depending on how you like it. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to take you through like a super simple version with really easy chords, no fancy stuff. So if you're a beginner, you'll be able to play the tune through without too much difficulty. It's pretty much all open chords. There's one chord that some of you might not be familiar with, but it's not particularly killer. So C chord, then we've got E7, or just regular E if you don't know E7 would be fine, then A minor, and then to C. Then F, you're going to need your bar chords there, to C, to D or D7, to G or G7, either one will do. C chord, to E7, to A minor, to F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Okay? So it's the kind of the pivotal moment of the song, and it's at least it's got a long name. It's not particularly hard to play. First finger, 4 frets above the capo in the 4th string, on the 4th string, not in the 4th string, and third finger covering the thinnest 3 strings, 1 fret higher, so 5 frets above the capo. Okay, that's an F sharp half diminished chord, an F sharp minor 7 flat 5 would be its full name. You don't have to worry about it too much. It's just another chord. There's another way of playing it. I think this one sounds better in this song, so I tend to use that. You're not playing the thickest two strings. The other way to play it, if you want one that's in the open position, if you start with an A minor chord and then use your thumb to play the 2nd fret of the thickest string. So 2nd fret, mute the 5th string, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret open. It's another way of playing this F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord. You can refinger that if you don't like doing the thumb over. So 2nd finger's playing the thickest string, mute the 5th string, 2nd fret with the 3rd and 4th fingers, 1st fret, 1st finger, 1st fret, 2nd string, open, thinnest string. It's another way of playing that particular chord, the F sharp minor 7 flat 5. It just sounds terrible, doesn't it? But it's not difficult to play. Then we've got a C chord to a G, C. Okay, and there's a little tag at the end there, just the first time going into the 2nd verse, which will be F, E minor to G7. Maybe with that little walk up, which I'll go through in a second. So let me just play that through once more. Important to realize that this song's in 3, so it's got this 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so while you're playing that kind of thing, you need to be aware, obviously, at the time. If you're playing in 4/4, it's going to sound, well, weird. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit more about the rhythm later, but for the counting, at least for now, I'm thinking of 3 beats to the bar. Okay, so the chords, easy version for the verses are C to E7 to A minor to C, F chord to C chord to D7 to G, then it's C chord to E7 to A minor to F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to C chord to G to C, F, E minor, G. Okay, let's talk about some of the slight fancier things that you might want to get up to now. So C chord will just stay the same. On the E7, if you're trying to play the melody, a nicer version of the E7 is to play a regular E chord and add little finger 3rd fret 2nd string. So that way you get that. Okay, then you can get a nice little A minor. So instead of A minor, you could play A minor 7, okay, which is like a regular A minor but lifting off the 3rd finger. Okay. If you want that melody movement, you can use little finger down in the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and lift it off. And then we've got this C chord. Now, on the original recording, it's a C sus4 over G. Okay, it sounds complicated. It's not particularly difficult to play, but it is a little bit unusual. So your fingers might not find going there particularly easy straight away. We want 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the thickest string, muting the 5th string, little finger 3rd fret on the 4th string, open 3rd string, 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, muting the thinnest string. It's a lovely resolution to the C chord, which is what happens. It goes C sus over G to C. Okay, it does it quite quickly, so he's going C to E7 to A minor to here. 1, 2, 3. So the C chord's only for 1 beat. So you've got 2 beats on the C sus, C, then it's to F chord. Okay, it's a fairly quick change. Again, on piano, it's loads easier. It's just like, yeah, dead easy on piano. Even I could do it on piano, but it's not on guitar. It's a little awkward. It's just a bit of practice to get it, get it falling under your fingers. Or something. I think sounds just like the record if you pull that out. So I think it's worth it. F chord. Now again, on the original recording, it's not a C chord next, it's a C/E. So you get this nice movement of the F to C chord with an E bass. Now, if I'm playing C with E bass, I don't normally put my 3rd finger down, okay? So it looks like an A minor, but I'm muting the 5th string. That's important. If you're worried, if you're not able to mute the 5th string or you're struggling with it, just put the 3rd finger down like it's a regular C chord. But you're going to play that thicker string as well. It just gives you a nice movement again. If we could keep going lower down to the D, we would, but we don't. So D7 to G. Okay, let's have a look at that because it's a nice little movement there. All I'm doing is, and you have to do that finger style if you're going to do that, really. So my thumb is playing the bass and my driving finger is plucking the note. and it's playing the 3rd fret on the thickest string and the open B string, first of all, open 2nd string. Then I'm playing the open 5th string with my thumb, the 2nd thickest string, and then my first finger's going in the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And then little finger's going down in the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 2nd finger is going down in the 2nd fret of the 5th string. So basically the bass is going, and the melody is going. Okay, so open 2nd string, 1st fret, 3rd fret to open thinnest string, bass, 3rd fret on the thickest string, then open 5th string, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. Okay, it's a really nice way of, it's a nice little movement there. C to E7, to A minor, to F sharp, minor 7 flat 5. Still call us radio. Now here, still call us. I mean, that really wants to be this C over G again. It's just a slightly different grip. So if you start with a regular C chord, and then put little finger down on the 3rd fret of the thinner string, still just a C chord, okay? It doesn't even change its name, it's still just regular old C, we've just doubled a different note, and then we move the 3rd finger down to the 3rd fret of the thicker string, muting the 5th string, okay? C/G, to G7, then there's the C, then we got that little movement, F, E minor, G7, okay, and then we're back through 2nd verse. After the 2nd verse, instead of doing the F, E minor, G7, instead of that, it goes B7, sus4 to B7. So there's a few different approaches to that. Basically, you want the first chord is going to be nothing on the thicker string, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 2nd fret, open, open. Okay, and then going to B7. I often don't. I just leave the thinner string open. I'm a bit lazy, I guess. Just after that sound. If you're struggling, just play a regular B7. Don't worry about the B7 sus. Okay, so if you're going to do the B7 sus this way, I use my first finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the 5th string, and 3rd finger underneath and the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. That way my first finger move back 1 fret to get that B7. It's just like if you play regular B7 chord and slide your first finger up. Okay. Now the chords for the little bridgy bit, the All the Sons and Daughters Spinning Around the World section, are another one of those ones that are really nice on piano, but a little bit kind of awkward on guitar. The way that I'm going to show you to do, I think, is the one that sounds best for me, but it requires a little bit of concentration, let's say, about what you're picking. So it's a regular E minor, but what you want to be doing, there's this little kind of movement of going in the chord. Okay? So I'm kind of picking it out. I'm playing the thumb on the bass note, and my first finger is playing the melody, and then a down, up, down strum. So I just play regular E minor, then first finger is going the 1st fret of the 4th string, then open 4th string, then this is still just an E minor, but now my 3rd finger is playing the 4th fret of the, 4 frets above the capo on the 5th string, and my first finger is down the 2nd fret of the 4th string, where, covering where would have been a normal E minor chord, right? A minor to D7 to G. B7 sus, again if you want, then that same sequence. E minor major 7 is its proper name, and then E minor 7, then E minor 6. That's the sequence, a very common kind of a jazz sequence, this minor, major 7, minor 7, minor 6. Like Nature Boy and songs like that, jazz standards use it, but lovely in this. It's a very piano-y kind of a trick to do. So it does that a second time, sorry. It's moving down, this is the second time through. Then it's good to know where your journey ends. If I can sing it in even slightly the right key. It's D7 sus4 there you want. because it's a little bit ambiguous again on the record. There's a few different chord movements, but I've seen a version of Tommy playing it in this key as well, after I'd already worked out my little arrangement, I might point out, but he used a D7 sus here as well, so I think we're in pretty safe territory if Tommy Emmanuel's playing it this way. And that's nothing on the thickest 2 strings, open 4th string, 2nd fret, 1st fret, 3rd fret, and then that's going to G. There are quite a few different approaches for the rhythm for this tune. I think as a really good starting point, you want to be playing the bass note on beat 1 just with your thumb, and then down, up, down on the 2 and 3. So 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, if you want to, you could start, I'm kind of using these 1st and 2nd fingers together, so it's not just one finger doing the strumming, and you can also add the strum after 3 as well. So 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2. Okay, using fingers obviously has the advantage that you can introduce that kind of thing into it fairly easily, whereas if you're using a pick, you can, you can do it definitely. You can use pick and fingers where you're playing the bass notes with the pick and then using your fingers to grab out some of those melody notes. That totally works as well. But if you're going to get into playing the melody as well, you're going to have to figure out what way you want to do it, whether you're doing it as pure finger style. I'm doing it as a kind of a, I copped it mainly from Neil Young, where you're kind of picking out some notes, but you're strumming. If it's a downward motion, I tend to strum the strings as well, which is, I find it really difficult to explain how it is that I'm doing it, which is why I'm not doing a lesson on it. But most of the melody notes fall nicely under the fingers in this song. So if you have a go at looking at the chords that I've got and just try picking out the notes individually, you'll probably find a lot of those melody notes sitting there waiting for you. And it's just for you to figure out whether you want to do a pure finger style one or a bit more of a strummy one, or whether you just hint at the melody. Definitely if you're singing it, I don't think you really need to, unless you're doing that little instrumental break when just strumming it by itself might start to be a little tired. It needs something there. But you could just add in a few different twiddle sus chords and stuff like that into it, and that would work as well. So look, wishing you an amazing Australia Day. I wish I was home. Weather in England is really particularly horrible this time of year as well. But I'll be out in Australia very soon. Keep an eye on my Facebook and Twitter and stuff. Find out when I'm there, because I'll definitely be doing some meetups and workshops and stuff while I'm in town. So I'll see many of you very soon. I hope you take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.